Hello, 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 hello. Oh my God. Welcome to another episode of the Dr. Kiki Ramsey Show. And I'm so freaking excited. You would think that I don't see this person every day of my life, but you know, even though I may see her every day of my life, I still am excited that you get to experience Chelsey Parkinson today on the show. So we are going to be talking about why talented women stay stuck in careers they've outgrown. And I'm telling you, I know that she has a lot to say about this, and we talk about it all the time in our coaching practice. And we're going to get into it right after this. Welcome to the show, friend. Welcome to the show. You're family anyway, though.
Yep. I was joking on one of our coaching calls the other day. Oh, I think it was when we were introducing ourselves on the calls, and Jamil said that he was married to you, and I was like, "Oh, I'm married to Kiki too."
Yeah, that's you're my work
I'm married
wife.
to Kiki.
I love it. I love it. So, tell everybody who you are, who may not know you, and what you also do even outside of PCADI.
Yeah, so I am the director of coaching and training at PPCaDI, which means I manage all of our coaches, manage all of our programs. I get to do the really fun coaching and creative side of everything we do, and I still coach inside of our programs and coach our leaders. And one of my favorite parts of my job is I lead our coach training program. So I get to take brand new baby coaches from
Yes.
low to go and teach them our methodology and all about this really fun, fantastic thing that we call coaching. And outside of that, which there are things that exist outside of that, I run my own private coaching practice, which is really fun. I pretty much coach my face off 24/7.
Hmm.
My family owns a property. We have chickens and ducks, and I raise wolf dogs. I have a 6-year-old daughter, and as if that wasn't enough, I am also a competitive bodybuilder.
I love it. You do all the things, and I love it. And I love seeing your chickies and your dogs, and of course, Kenna Penna is my baby girl. And so y'all don't mess with my baby.
She won't
Like
mess
I'll
with
fight.
you, though.
Right, exactly. She will. She will. So I'm so excited that we get to have this opportunity for this call because lately, I and you have been coaching a lot of women who've been really stuck, right? They've been stuck in their careers. I have had several posts on social media go viral, and so many women and some men who are just sick and tired of being sick and tired of their jobs and they've outgrown those.
Yeah.
But before we jump in, please tell everybody what your superpower is.
Oh, let's see. I think my superpower generally is I get to the root of things real fast. I can see
Mm,
it coming from a mile away. I don't sugarcoat. I'm not the coach you come to when you want your hand held and you want to feel all warm and fuzzy about it. And that
right.
means we're going to find it, we're going to dig it out, and we're going to get moving.
Um, I love that because, my husband's like that. And I call that being really crunchy. Sometimes. But sometimes people need that in their lives. They need to hear the truth. And
Yep.
that's what we're going to talk about today is the truth about, why these women are staying in careers and being stuck for all these years. And so, of course, you've, coached and trained professionals. You've coached and trained people in the DOD, at war. I mean, like you've had all of these, career, even transitions for yourself. And then, so why, first of all, do you feel that women potentially stay stuck in careers that they've outgrown?
Most people don't like this answer when I give it to them, but they don't stay stuck, they choose stuck. They choose
Ooh,
stuck. And they choose
ooh.
stuck over and over again and choose it so many times that they think there's no other option. because then that's who we become, right? Anything we do over and over again starts to sink into our identity level. So then we start to talk about ourselves as I am stuck. I'm just the person who stays in this job, or I just can't imagine myself anywhere else. Those are actually choices. You're not actually stuck. So I don't think we stay stuck. I think we choose stuck. Now, there's a lot to unpack underneath that answer, but
Okay.
I will start
Yes.
there. I will start with we choose
Okay.
stuck, we don't stay stuck.
Okay. No, I love that. So, and I firmly believe that um, we have all these choices in life, right? And these choices that we choose in life, I also think our where we are right now, like you said, is predicated on all the choices that we've made that have come before it.
Mm-hmm.
So you and I were talking about some stuff in the in backstage, and I was like, ah, but all those are choices that I made before we got to this point, right? Um, and so if we choose stuck, why do we tend to choose stuck?
Yep.
To stay stuck? Because I do believe we have a choice.
Yeah, I think with women in particular, there's this underlying guilt and storyline of other people would kill to have this. I'm so lucky to be here. Like we write ourselves into almost these martyrdom stories. I call it privilege prison. I have this thing and other people could have this thing. I don't want this thing, but I'm going to stay in it because other people want it. Like we feel bad for wanting to walk away from something
Yeah.
that maybe a younger version of us loved it. I think about my time in the Department of Defense. 22-year-old Chelsey thought that was the coolest job on the earth. I had a banging top secret clearance. I got to go work on a military base, right? Like I went to war a bunch
Yes.
of times. I got to travel all the time. 22-year-old me thought that was really cool. 29-year-old me, 30-year-old me, I had outgrown that container tenfold.
Mm.
And I did the whole guilt thing. Other people would kill to have my job.
Ah.
Like I'm so lucky that I have this stability. Other people don't have this stability.
Yep.
And I think
Yep. Yep.
women do that a lot more because we've been told to be safe and to be stable and to put ourselves into boxes so that when we're
Mhm.
in a box, that arguably for a lot of us is fairly cushy. You're
Yeah.
making okay money, you have a
Yep.
job to go to. It feels luxurious or superfluous to a degree to then walk away. And we worry what other people think too.
Oh my God, girl. Okay. Let's like, no, we, back in the day, there was not social media like it is right now. And
Right.
so right now we're growing up in a time and age where we are absolutely we can look at everybody else. And so you and I we call it, people who are out here coaching without certifications and just, taking people for their money. We call them insta coaches. And we call them fake book coaches. And to me, we look at other people who are supposedly doing what we do. And then we say, how is it that they're doing that? I want to do that. I want to be able to look like that. I mean, how can they afford that? And all those kinds of things. And then we look at potentially what's out there in the marketplace. And if it don't look appeasing, we're like, yeah, I can't go nowhere. Right. But we've outgrown, right? The career, right? We look at everybody. And so, I know for a fact, like me, and I always get, talk about me. At one point in time, I it wasn't just money, but I stayed in a position because of how successful I appeared. Have you ever had that? Have you ever
Mm.
had that happen to you? Like, I literally stayed and I was like, I'm here. This looks successful, but I'm miserable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think we do that a lot. And then we try to justify it because there's no
Mm.
villain in that story, right? Like there's nothing bad enough. I call it the valid villain. There is no valid villain. There's
Yeah.
nothing bad enough, right? It's good enough, it's fine, it works, it's stable, like all of those super neutral vanilla terms that are about safety.
Yeah.
And so we stay put because
Hmm.
it's got safety, and on paper,
Yeah.
it makes sense. On paper, it's the white picket fence and the 2.5 kids, right? Like all of those things that we're told we're supposed to want. And then we have this cognitive dissonance because we're being told this is what you're supposed to want, right? Get into your career, climb the ladder, make the money, do these things, you'll be so happy. So then we're in cognitive dissonance, we're confused, we have identity crisis, we have all these things because we're here and we're like, I don't want this. I don't want to be here. And then it makes you feel like there's something wrong with you. Like, am I the problem because I don't
Yeah.
want this thing that everybody else allegedly
Yeah.
wants? Like, what's wrong with me?
Yeah. It's wild because I posted on my social media, I said, here are the things you need to know when it's time to leave your job. And that post blew up. And for me, I'm like, I'm just doing what a career coach would do, right? An executive coach would do. I'm just giving you some signs. I had no idea that it would absolutely blow up. And it has been viewed between IG and TikTok over like 400,000 times. That is insane to me. And if you read the comments, women are they seem like they are so very unhappy in these workplaces. But some of the things that I'm hearing, toxic workplaces, toxic boss, um, uh, crazy work hours, high expectations, low pay, and yet they still stay.
Right.
Yet they choose to, like you say, they choose to still stay. And I think that I've been in their shoes before, right? Like when I was a social worker, I got so burnt out and I was like, oh my freaking goodness, I cannot do this any longer. And it took me a little while to start to make the transition, but I think some women, I don't know what's going through their head. What do you think is going through their minds when they say, "I hate this job, but I can't leave."
Yeah. Identity. I think it's largely an identity issue of they have just decided, which then turns into accepted, that this is what's true for them, that this is what's available for them. It's really easy to get caught up in the noise of, well, the job market sucks, well, this sucks and that sucks, and to get, afraid of what else could be true for you, what else could be possible for you. But I also get a little conspiracy theorist on these things of like, but who does this serve? Like it doesn't serve women.
Yeah.
These storylines don't serve you staying stuck in a job that you hate where you're not valued in whatever way is
Exactly.
important for you to be valued. It benefits the workplace. It
Yeah.
benefits the corporation that is making money off of the fact that you work there. So I think a lot of it is unwarranted fear because you don't know. You don't know. You could get
Yeah.
out there and you could absolutely crush it, but it benefits organizations and corporations for you to stay small and for you to stay stuck because if you keep choosing it, right? If you keep staying in a toxic work environment and a bad culture and getting underpaid, now you've validated that those things are okay. Because if it's not chasing employees out, why would they change it?
No, it's so true. And you said a couple things. One was, you know, you stay stuck in that job and it benefits the organization. But at some point, these organizations need to understand that it don't benefit them.
Right.
Having an employee in a work environment that does not suit them, that does not make them happy, that does not make them productive and cooperative, at the end of the day, it can harm the organization. So if I were an organization and you don't want to work for me, please find another job. Like, please, for our sake,
Yeah.
find another job because it's gonna help you and us in the long run. But here's the thing. I think that most people don't understand this, the research says that you tend to make more money over the span of your work life when you leave jobs. When you if you and I both stayed at the same job for or we were at the same job for 10 years and then you decided to leave and I decided to stay and in 5 years we reconnect, chances are you make way more money than me because you can make more money with a move. Most of the time you can't make that same money. Them 3%, and child, the way people is cutting budgets right now, and they ain't even giving the cost of living wages and and raises or anything like that. So changing jobs is actually sometimes more beneficial.
Yep.
Yeah.
And staying stuck and being unhappy, there's just so many layers to it. I think we get so distracted by money, which I'm not invalidating because money is very important and all of the things around money are
Yes.
important.
Yes. Yes.
And
Yes.
there's so many other factors that are at play too of ensuring that your whole life experience is enjoyable. And there's also this layer here that I think we don't talk about enough, which is every time you choose to stay in something that doesn't serve you, you teach yourself that that's what you think you deserve. You teach
Woo!
yourself this is what I think about myself. And that is terrifying to me, to keep
Yeah.
showing yourself, hey, staying in this work environment because I don't think I'm worth more.
Dang. That's deep, right? Like it goes way it goes deeper than like mental, right? Like that is like and self-worth. You already know that a lot of women even high achieving women have imposter syndrome. And I was teaching my final class last night in theories and techniques of coaching at Life University, and we were talking about the imposter syndrome. And a lot of our coaches, like our baby coaches, they're like, "Well, I don't feel comfortable yet coaching," and I'm like, "Oh, or I don't feel comfortable calling myself a coach," and I'm like, how are you going to ever learn how to coach, to be good, to make this a practice, to do all these things, right? If you don't get out there and coach. And so we had this whole conversation about how, imposter syndrome seeps in. And I'm like, it does that too. I think, maybe you can, go into this. I think it seeps in when it comes to women even looking for another job. Like they don't even like they don't even feel worthy that they should leave the job that they got because you're like, oh, I should be thankful or I should be grateful for this job. What the heck?
Gross. That toxic gratitude thing drives me nuts.
Oh, say it again. Toxic
Toxic
gratitude.
gratitude. I think, now I love me some gratitude, right? We're a positive psychology company. I'm here for it.
Yes.
And there is a line of toxic gratitude where we use it as a way to shrink. We use it as a
Yeah.
way to avoid.
Woo.
It's been thrown at us, right? Like, I can think about the way that I was raised and being told to be grateful for all the things all the time. But sometimes you're just not. And sometimes gratitude, you shouldn't be. You shouldn't, just having a job. Like, it's this idea of the bare minimum. Like women, I think over time, we really just have been conditioned that for us, we should be grateful and excited about the bare minimum in all of our places and spaces with our romantic partners,
Yep.
in our jobs, in our lives. Like, oh, you're so lucky because you have the bare minimum. No, wrong. And so we do this toxic gratitude thing because that's how we've been raised and that's how we've been taught. And we should be so grateful for things. But gratitude is not meant to be a swap for living your life, right? Like
Yeah.
being grateful because you have a job right now, you are also allowed to want something else. You can come home every day and be thankful that the bills are paid and also be living in a reality where you want more than that. And we've been
Yeah.
taught those have to be in conflict versus, but what if the gratitude was like the diving board for where you're
Yes.
trying to head?
Yeah. Oh my God. Toxic gratitude, just like toxic positivity, right? Thinking that we always have to put a smile on our face but I love that toxic gratitude. And I think that we do use it as a weapon, like, oh my God, I should be so grateful and thankful. Like, you can want more, right? And these are all the things, I talk about in the new book, in my new book, Create Your Own Happiness, because we can want more at the same time. And to me, okay, so answer this. What I hear a lot of is that if I want more, then I seem greedy. Like, if I want more, then I feel selfish. If I want more, then, fill in the blank, right? Like, where do we get this from? Golly.
From people who couldn't get it and start saying that you are this, that thing or the other because you want more for your life. I talk to my clients a lot about the bell curve, right? In any population, there is a bell curve.
Yep.
And it doesn't matter what data set. I mean, you're a PhD, right?
Yep.
In any data set, there is a bell curve. There is a tail on either end, and then there is a large part of that data set that sits in the 80%, let's say, right? And 80% of the population is never going to get more. They're not going to want more. They're not going to do more. They're going to sit in that 80%. And even within that 80%, there's a bell curve. So some of them sit at the top of that 80%, some of them sit at the bottom of that 80%, right? But some people are just never going to want more. They're just never going to do more. They're never going to go after it. And because it's not part of their story, it's triggery for them. Instead of trying to get to an empathetic place of, oh, I can be perfectly happy where I am. That person wanting more is not a challenge to my lifestyle. There's nothing wrong with me because they want something else. But because we are a comparative species and
Ooh,
because we're so nosy, we got to be up in people's business all the time.
Yep.
That's where we get these stories from, is people telling us you're greedy because you want more. Okay. And
Okay. Right. And like that's your opinion.
yeah.
Right? That's your opinion. And I think that is I think it's it's important to understand that people are going to have an opinion, and
Right.
you have to be courageous enough to, to walk away. One of the things that I hear a lot of, and that I've seen a lot of, is that comfortability will keep you stuck. And a lot of women I see and coach are comfortable, not comfortable so much like that they're not, they haven't outgrown the job, but more so with the lifestyle, with the hours, with, enough to keep them in the space. And so if a woman out there understands that she's comfortable, but she keeps saying she want to move, what's going to be the thing that triggers her to actually make a move?
Yeah. It's funny, I just started recording a little mini private podcast on this exact thing that we're talking about people getting stuck.
Hey.
And something that I said in one of the episodes this week is that, hey, a cage is comfortable if it's got a couch and a TV in it too.
Ooh, chat girl,
Right?
stop.
Cage
Ooh.
can be comfortable if it's got a couch and a TV. It's still a cage. It's
Mm,
you're still stuck. But the thing is
mm.
that you built the cage. So for women who are in this space, remembering that you built the cage. You built the cage and you can open the door at any time you want. But you are continuing to hold yourself hostage to it for all of these reasons. The thing that shook me out of it is I was in this guilt complex about other people would kill to have this. I should really stay put. Like, I'm so lucky, I'm so this. And then it dawned on me that my privileged prison was not creating equity. Me staying in a job and in a life that I no longer wanted because other people would kill to have it was not making space for the people who wanted it to have it. I was sitting in a job I hated when somebody else would have loved to have had it.
Wow.
And I was
Wow.
keeping them out of it because of
Wow.
this guilt, right? And so that made no sense. I'm feeling guilty about wanting to leave my job because other people would kill to have it. So I'm gonna stay my ass here in this position.
Mm-hmm.
You can't have both. You can't be in guilt because other people would want it and then not move out of the way so other people could have it. And
Dang.
that kind of like shook me because I'm the other half of a diversity company. I care a lot about equity and I care a lot about access and opportunity. And that kind of shook my bones of I don't want to be here and I'm stopping somebody else from being here. So ain't nobody happy. We got no happy people in this situation if I keep my butt in this position. And so for
Right.
me, it was linked to
Dang.
my value of other people, right? So finding your
Mm,
values, getting
yeah.
into that values place of like, I care a lot about equity and opportunity and accessibility and other people. And
Yeah.
my privileged prison was in direct conflict with that. So
Yeah.
not only was I freaking miserable at work every single damn day, but I was keeping somebody else who might have really loved it from having access to that opportunity.
Chelsea, that is so freaking deep. Like, it's so deep, but I think that you have to have a sense of self-awareness to actually have gotten to that place, which is, by the way, where coaching comes into play.
I was gonna say
Um,
I was seeing a coach at work. Funny enough, I was at work seeing the coach, and this happened
right.
at work. And then I went,
Yeah.
I should not come back after having my daughter.
Thank you, Dr. Joyce, for joining us live on the Dr. Kiki Ramsey Show. And Marnie Turner, thank you for joining us live on the Dr. Kiki Ramsey Show. We love to see y'all here with us as we are discussing this very, very important topic. Okay, so we talked about, women staying comfortable, and you gave your story. For me, I, ultimately ended up leaving the job, even though I knew I had outgrown it, when I was seeing things happen with my clients, and I started to be a little cynical. Girl, like, how can I say that I'm for women, but I'm judging and I'm being cynical and I'm doing all these things? I'm like, I can't be in this space because my value set is to only support women, to help women grow. And frankly, at that time, I was really dealing with something personal myself, which was causing me to be more cynical and judgy towards the women who I was serving. And I was like, this ain't good for nobody.
But it was your
Like this,
value set, right? That you just said the same
exactly.
thing I did, which is there was that moment
Hmm.
of values, right? And I think something in that story that was really important in mine too, that I warn all of my clients about, is when you stop being able to show up as your best self,
Yeah.
right? I stopped wanting to lead my team. I love managing people and I loved my job. I love to talk. I had such a cool job. I get to brief generals and congressmen and ambassadors. I had a cool job. And I never wanted to go to work. And when I was at work, I didn't want to do my work. And I am not that person. I'm an A-type, oldest child Virgo, man. Like I was done with my job by 10 a.m. most days. And I started to notice I didn't want to show up as my best self. I didn't want to do my job. I didn't like the way I was doing my job. I didn't like the way I was leading my team. But here's the fork in the road, right? Where most people go is to trying to fix that. We solve
Yeah.
around the problem. I'm going to go to another self-development training about my leadership. I'm just being a bad leader. Or I'm going to take a vacation. I just need like a 3-day vacation. Or I'm just going to switch teams. I did all this shit, so I know, I'm telling you. And we come up with this whole list of like 10 steps of how I'm going to get back to being great at my job. It's not that you're bad at your job. You don't belong in your job. You don't fit
Ooh,
there anymore. You have outgrown the container and
that
it's
part.
time to go. So you have a choice, right? When you start to feel this and you start to notice this, you can either solve yourself, like you're the problem, solve around the problem, go to therapy, whatever, or you can
Yeah.
realize you just don't fit there anymore. And
Yeah.
it's better for everybody. All boats rise if you exit the canal, my friend.
This is so true. And they gonna go on without you. Like,
Yes.
I mean, baby, they gonna go on without you.
Yep.
You said something, and I call what you just talked about is burnout versus misalignment. A lot of us will think that we are just burnt out and we need that, little vacation. But some of us are just misaligned, meaning that we've outgrown our values have outgrown. We have just we've taken a turn, right? And so how would you, share with a woman if they feel like they have outgrown their job, what would be a next step, right? Because here's the thing. We know for a fact that women are sitting in these jobs. I have 400,000 reasons why we're having this conversation right now. People hate their job.
They sure
They
do.
hate the people that they work with, and they know they need to leave, but they just don't either have the courage or they're letting fear get in their way. What would you, if you were coaching, which you are coaching the people, tell them or share with them what they would do
Yeah.
next.
I usually tell clients to get reacquainted with their values again.
Yeah.
To come back to not like why are you in your job values, but like truly what's important to you, what drives your day to day, what drives why you do what you do, because oftentimes seeing that your current situation is so devoid of your values is a good like shake the
Yeah.
crap out of you. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm showing up every single day to this. And I sent 3 very high level executive clients all in the same exercise, off in a search to other organizations that demonstrate their values. Just to see that it's out
Mm.
there. Didn't tell them to quit their jobs, like, but this was, hey, as a first whack, we need to start to introduce your nervous system to safety. There
Yeah.
are places out there that honor what you honor and value what you value, and you need to go and see that that exists. Whether or not
Yeah.
they have open jobs doesn't matter, but you need to go and see that these things can happen. So we're switching our brain from deficit thinking and negative thinking and shrinking and I can't leave my job to, oh, wait, this organization exists. Look what this person did who left the job. And go look for what else could be true. Go look for what exists in the realm of what you want to do, of how you want to live, of what you want to see in your own life. Because the brain doesn't know the difference between truth and fiction. It knows what you feed it. And so if you keep feeding it, there are no jobs, I can't leave my job, blah, 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 blah. That's what you keep plugging into your mental
Yeah.
GPS. So you keep driving your car to these places. Instead, if we can start feeding our brain different stories of like, oh, look at this organization. Look what they do. Look what they value. Look at their work-life balance. Like, get on Glassdoor. Go poke around and see what else is possible that's out there, because that's going to help your nervous system know it's safe to dive into the water.
Yeah, I love that so much. And I want to go back to something you said, right? Because we're positive psychologists. Like we are, our organization, we're strengths first, right? We believe that everybody has strengths. And the thing that I hear a lot or even see a lot on social media is that there are no jobs. There, the economy sucks. And, I don't know that I can, find another job that pays me the amount of money that I want to pay, that gives me the hours that I want to work, all these things, right? So these are all the things that I'm hearing. But when you look at these from a positive psychology lens, you know that there's no absolutes. There are jobs, right? Now, it may take you longer. You might need to get a certification. You might need to dust off your resume. You might need to get on LinkedIn and, type, hit up your friend and say, hey, I'm looking. I don't want everybody to know, but I'm looking. And if you have something out there. But I think a lot of people don't leave jobs because they don't think that there's anything else out there, and they won't even allow themselves to dream or to even visualize that there could be something better out there. Like, it's amazing to me that we don't do that.
Yeah. Well, I think it's what the human brain loves to do, which is we've learned to tolerate our current circumstances, even when they suck, right? We've learned to tolerate it. We do a lot of work to tolerate the suck. We go to therapy, we do our gratitude journals, we drink our coffee on the way to work, right? Like we've got rituals to tolerate our lives,
Right.
which is
Yes.
gross, first of all, that we tolerate like what we shouldn't have. However, because we know how to tolerate it on a day-to-day basis, we can't then handle the idea of dreaming about something we can't have. Because we've convinced ourselves that if I dream about it and I don't get it, I can't handle the disappointment. But like, baby, you got to work on your self-trust there, my friend, of like, if I want it, I'm going to figure out how to get it. And that's what I coach a lot of my people on, is there's a difference between desire and execution and implementation, and this is identity. This part, desire, we can all want stuff. We all want stuff all the time. We want to be thinner, we want to make more money, we want. But then when we don't get it, we self-criticize and self-judge, but we didn't do the identity level work first.
Ooh.
We didn't do the work to reprogram that I am the person who has that job. I am the person who loses the weight. As a bodybuilder, I can tell you the first thing I start with is not my gym. The first thing I start with every day is my damn identity and my mindset.
Yep.
Because I work out a zillion days a week, and there are still days where I'm like, I don't want to today. I don't want to go and do this. And that that's just resistance, right? So a lot of y'all are getting stuck at the resistant level of I don't want to, I don't want to, I don't want to. That's different than, but I am the person who does it, right? So for
Yeah.
me, my identity is I am the person who goes and does it. I am the person who goes and lifts. I am the person who stays to their macros. I am this person. And that identity layer is what trumps the instant gratification. I don't want to. We need to match
Yeah.
them.
Oh my God, it's so true because we fear the disappointment. We really do fear, like, if I put myself out there and I can't guarantee that I'm gonna be successful, I ain't doing it. Right? It's the fear of the unknown. I write about them in Get Courageous Now. There are 8 fears that most of us women deal with, and fear of the unknown is one of them. Fear of failure is another, and also fear of success is another. Right? And so all these things, work together to keep us stuck in a place where we won't even venture out. We won't even get on LinkedIn and be
Don't even
like,
look.
right, let me
You won't even
see.
explore. Yeah. I'm so
Right?
glad you said
Because,
fear of success because that
yeah.
is such an identity thing.
Oh, it
Because you
is.
can't hold the growth, right? So then your story is when I get what I want, I self-sabotage. When I get what I want, I blow it up. Or worse, I got what I wanted in this job and I hated it because I did that for a long time and I didn't trust myself because like I got what I wanted. I got the job. And you know what I did? I didn't get promoted for like 3 years and I was so mad. It was a 6-figure promotion. It was like the big thing, blah blah blah. You know what happened? I got it and then I went, I don't want this anymore. Within a year of that, less than a year, it was probably a couple months. I was like, I found out I was pregnant with Kenna, and I was like, there is no way in hell I'm gonna. As soon as I knew it was a girl, there was no way in hell I'm gonna raise a daughter who watches me shrink in a man's environment. I am not gonna watch my
Ooh.
daughter watch me fade and fall apart inside the U.S. government. Like this will not be something she gets to see, and that became an identity thing, right? I had an identity layer that was added, mom to a daughter, and that shifted what I believed to be true about myself. So this
Mm,
layer of you have to be able to hold the upgrade. If you don't
yeah.
think about who am I if I get what I want, who am I when I get what I want, what do I need to grow, shift, absorb to be able to be the person who makes XYZ, your brain literally won't let you get it.
I mean, and that right there is so freaking deep. If we do not do this work
Yeah.
on ourselves, then we ultimately can't overcome these blocks. I see it like for me, like I used to have, the poverty mindset, real money blocks, right? Even when I started coaching, if my clients, which most of the time were made way more money than me because they were like these top executives, I'm like, what makes me like, what makes me worthy of like freaking like
Yeah.
coaching these people when I don't have as much money as them? And I had to overcome that
Yep.
to realize that I am worthy because I have something that they need, and my life experiences are going to help them get through. But if I couldn't have
Yep.
gotten over that, we wouldn't have PCADI, right? And coaching inside of some of the top organizations in the country with these top executives if I did not overcome the mindset that I came in with, right?
Right. And that's the
That's
piece is
crazy.
like
Yeah.
I think for so many women too, we're taught that like mindset and emotions like it's woo woo. Like this is like woo woo work. Just go and do. Just go and execute. Just go and prove. And like science, y'all, science, psychology, neuroscience, cognition, the way you
Mm-hmm.
think, your belief systems inform
Yep.
literally everything else. This is what we teach our coaches at PCADI, right?
Yep.
We use a model that's based on cognitive behavioral therapy for cognitive behavioral coaching. And what we teach our coaches and how we coach all of our clients and how I do it in my private practice as well is that your thoughts and your feelings equal your behaviors. And all of that comes together and shows up as your results. So if you don't have what you want, something in your equation isn't working, and 9 times out of 10 it is your thinking, it is
Yeah.
your belief systems, it is the way you talk about yourself, it's the way you talk about your job, it's the truths. Well, there's no jobs, y'all, that is not a truth, but you're acting like it is the word of God and then marching forward into your miserable job because there are no jobs. So we really have to reevaluate like what ingredients are in our mental pantry here, because some of y'all got to upgrade. Like we got to stop buying Walmart brand ingredients when we want like Louis Vuitton results.
That girl, you bars, y'all. Bars. Dropping bars. I love this conversation so much. Oh my God. Okay, so last question, because I really, have loved everything, and we got people here live. Thank you, LaShawn, for being with us live. She's like, "Ooh, I love the mental GPS," right? So thank you for that. So, okay, so I'm a woman, and I am dead set on I'm dead set on leaving, because I have outgrown my job. And so I'm dead set on leaving, but I don't have the mental capacity to get me there. What is the one thing that you would tell me to do?
The one thing I would tell you to do. I'm going to give you a two-parter because past and future self got to come together here. First thing I would tell you to do is what I call the badass list. I give this to all of my clients, and I make them go through and write down everything they've ever accomplished that they can think
Ooh.
of. Everything. Like, doesn't matter how small it is. To, like me, I hate needles. I survived a C-section. To me, that's a massive accomplishment, and I remind myself of it often because it gets me through a lot of lesser things that I'm like, you know what? I could do this. I had a C-section, right? So make your badass list, because being armed with how freaking amazing you are, how strong you are, how smart you are, how accomplished you are, how powerful you are, that's going to help shift your identity layer, because we have to start at the identity layer, and the brain loves evidence. And because we don't have evidence of the $250,000 job in the beautiful company with great values, we want to start with the evidence we do have,
Right.
because those are our ingredients. Like, you actually do have these ingredients in your pantry already. You got to go and find them. So start with your badass list. You need to remind yourself who the hell you are and why you are going to be the person who has where we're headed next, right? So that's step one. Step one is, what makes me the shit? Why am I the person who's going to get everything I want?
I
And you got to
love
start
that.
there, because we
I
got
love
to
it.
find truth. We got to find evidence in the brain, because otherwise, for most of us, if we start to imagine this other future, we're creating conflict in the brain, because the
Yeah.
brain's like, you're in a $75,000 job right now that you hate. What are you talking about over there, right? So let's first boost
Yep.
our kind of capacity, and then we're going to shift into, what does that future look like? What's the job like? What are the hours like? Get as delusional as possible, right? Get as colorful as possible, get as detailed as possible. Because again, the brain doesn't know the difference between truth and fiction. It
Yeah.
knows what you think most often.
Yeah.
That's where truth comes from. So if you can think about this future all of the time and get delusional and obsessed with it, your brain will literally reroute its GPS to find ways to make it happen.
I love that so much. And, it gives me a reason to say badass. So I love that. So y'all heard it. Oh my God, that's so good. So y'all are armed with some tools and some strategies to be able to, exit if you need to exit from your job. But here's the thing. You are going to be, me and you are putting on the high earning coach intensive at the Thrive 26 Women's Conference. And we are going to be teaching coaches, social workers, therapists, service professionals, all of that, how to run a business, how to really elevate their careers to the next level,
Yep.
right? And I am so excited about that, because at the end of the day, this is exactly what we're talking about. And what we're going to do is walk people step by step. And we ain't no insta coaches, okay?
No.
I'm a master certified coach with the International Coaching Federation, and Chelsey is a professional certified coach with the International Coaching Federation, soon to be MCC. And we know this, right? So what do hope the women who register for the conference gets out of it?
Yeah, I would say if you're a person who wants to have a human-centered business, if you want to be human-centered, human service, coach, therapy, it really doesn't matter what, if it's focused on people and not products. And if you are wanting to transition into this, even if you've never coached before, or you haven't started your therapy practice, or you haven't started your human-centered business, so much of the work that we do, because business is not made up of business. I tell people this all the time, right? Cake is not made up of cake, it's made up of ingredients. So your business, if you're a seasoned person in corporate, you've got everything you need to transition into. Like Kiki and I both came out of corporate. Like I was not a coach when I started coaching, but
No.
I made my whole salary in year one because I had a coach who taught me how to use what I took from the DoD to build a coaching company. It's why I have a 7-figure coaching company, right? And that's what we're going to teach you. And I am just so excited to be able to bring it back down to what you've already got in your toolkit instead of what everybody on the internet is trying to sell you. You need this strategy and this blueprint and this hooks document. No, you don't. You need you. You need you, and you need to learn what's in your toolkit, because if you don't know what's in your toolkit, you don't know what's missing.
That
And the
part.
whole world will have you convinced that you've got nothing, so that you spend a whole bunch of money to pay them for things you've already got. So I am so
Yeah.
stoked about that. And the other piece that I'm really excited about is that you could come and coach with me.
Yep.
You could come and coach with Kiki. You could come and
Yep.
coach with one of the coaches that I've trained inside of our company on these very things, because this is what we coach on. This is what our entire company is all about, is self-leadership and elevating yourself and moving into the future that you're really looking for. So if you aren't available to join us at the conference, which I hope you are, but if you aren't, reach out to us and come and coach with us. Come and have access to myself or one of our coaches to work through getting out of corporate, building your company, learning how to elevate your leadership potential, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I've got a coach for you.
I love that too. And so, and then I also wanted to mention that if you are thinking about your second act, your third act, or your final act, whatever, or if you're thinking about a career pivot, let us train you to be a coach,
Heck yeah.
right? We have an amazingly beautiful coach training program, Positively Diverse Leadership, and we are training coaches every single month on how to be dynamic coaches and make, it might be for you, you might want to make side income. You might want to, keep your corporate job and really be able to make a living so that you can go on trips and you can do all these things. And so I think for me, coaching has absolutely changed my life. And I know it has changed your life as well, right? I mean, it has been the number one thing that I can point to and say, yep, that thing changed my life. Not only like professionally, but personally, because before I was ever a coach, I got coaching, right? And so, yeah, yeah,
Endless opportunities. And I might be a little bit biased because I built our coach training program, but it's good, y'all. It's good. You can talk to
so
people
good.
who have been through our program. We have a new cohort that starts in September. You get to get trained by me, and not for nothing, I'm no slouch. I've coached I'm up to 3,200 clients at this point in time, thousands of hours. We have a great time, and you're going to walk away. Kiki was talking earlier about coaches feeling imposter syndrome. My coaches don't feel that. They
That part.
know, right? They know. They come out the
That part.
gate knowing how to coach, because we double down on making sure that you know what to do, and you go out and you start seeing clients on day one.
Yeah.
And you start getting paid to see clients immediately. Because one of
Yep.
my passions in life is ensuring that coaches not only coach well, but get paid to coach well. Because our
Yeah.
profession is needed. We are
It
needed
is.
to make the world a better place.
It's
So
a billion plus dollar industry, right? I was talking
we
to
are
my
going to
students.
32 billion
There we go.
by 2026, right?
That
So we
is
are set to
insane.
double between, not 2026, 2032. Sorry, it's 2026 right now. Set to double the coaching industry between now and 2032. So if you want your piece of the pie and you want to learn how to coach, and we have 2 tracks for you. You can learn how to coach inside an organization, because yours truly, that's where I got my start. And we will help you learn how to inject it into your organization, get paid to be an in-house coach. Or you can go the other track, which is entrepreneurial coaching, which is what Kiki and I both do now.
Yeah, yeah, I love it. So there's lots of ways to join us, and we look forward to seeing you either at the conference or in some kind of coaching capacity. All right, friend. This has been amazing. You have left the people with some gems, and I appreciate you. Just thank you for being a part of my life, my friend, my wife, all the things. So I appreciate you being here. You all, if you you all, where did I get that from? If you loved this today's podcast, please, please, please share it with somebody. Like and subscribe as well, but also share it. This helps us get out there. I think that everybody should be listening to the Dr. Kiki Ramsey Show. You can find the Dr. Kiki Ramsey Show on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on Spotify, on Amazon, all the podcast channels that you find or that you regularly listen to, you can find the Dr. Kiki Ramsey Show on there. So I love you all. Of course, you know that you have the opportunity to go out there and create your own happiness. So go ahead and do that. All right, y'all. Peace.